a pretty amazing thing, as I said today, when Elliot and I started, as Nancy was saying, there were 50 students. We got our 50th student the day of our school. We had 5 teachers. That was it. And so now to see, we have over 30,000 students, over 100 schools. There's probably been 1,000 articles written, 10 books. I think I counted 2,500 speeches. So it's been pretty amazing, and I thank everybody for being part of this family. Give yourself a hand, wake up. So our mantra has been schools, innovation, and influence. So you're the schools. The innovation comes from you in the schools, and we always hoped that you would be at the center. And so when something comes good in Oakland, that goes to Camden. When something comes good in Camden, it goes around, and that's the beauty of this. Also, big pictures got to keep being on the edge. So we're always innovating, and that's what the Equity Fellows about. That's what Harbor Freight's about. That's what Emblaze is about. That's what the International work's about. That's what College Unbound is about. And you know, as I get older, we will have an old folks center one of these days. So you got life after this, man. I'll have it all set up for you. So stop laughing. So when I was thinking and trying to think about what I'm going to say to end tonight, and I always look around my house, I have 10 million books, and I'm thinking about mind, body, and soul. And I always give away books. Some are not very good, but the titles are good. So I want you to think of them. Talik will help me. Well, so I'm trying to get rid of some of them. I'll tell you which are the good ones. But they all connect. When I was going, I was saying, that's mind, that's body, that's soul. So this is the leader from within, okay, which is what we're trying to do. Anyone want it? Raise your hand. Danique will come run it to you. Too far back, man. Pass it back. Danique, I can't get you. Talik. Danique's over there, man. Leading Without Power, one of my favorite. Same guy raised his hand. Anybody want it over there? Come get it. There we go. My man from Minnesota. The next one. This is a bunch of small articles, but very important, even if it is from Harvard. On managing your... That was to get at Andrew there, man, and Eva. On managing yourself. So, right behind you, Tilly. This one's very important to me. It's the Zen Lessons, the Art of Leadership. There we go, right there. He's still a senior. I can tell him what to do, man. And this is how we all feel at some time. The wounded leader. I don't want all your hands going up on that one, man. But that's how we feel. Talik, hurry back, man. There's a lot of people back there, somewhere back there. And this is who we are. You know, as I'm sitting looking at my shelf, we are the rebels at work. Woohoo! That's who we are, right there. Can you hand that to her? Thank you. And then we have a good friend, Howard Fuller, and this is what I want you to think about. If it's no struggle, it's no progress. Okay? And so you got to start buying into that. That there is a struggle, and that, okay. You want it? Yeah. Shit. I've known him since he's a kid, I can say that. And this is one of my favorite. First, break all the rules. Can you understand I like it? Talik, you're still working for me. Come on, man. Give it to whoever you want. Break all the rules. And this is, I got pissed off that Andrew said fuck before I did. But they don't like me to swear, so I got a couple books. This is, You Are a Badass. Who wants there? There's a badass right there. Give it here. And this is the important thing not to be, and you got to remember it. These are books. It's not me. The no asshole rule. Who wants to be that? And if you don't understand any of this shit, I got Leadership for Dummies here. Who wants that one? Who's brave enough? Here, you hold that. Hold that. Leadership for Dummies. Woo! I think you're trying to tell me something, man. Find somebody. So, here's the problem with all this. In order to be this great leader, in order to be a rebel, in order to not be an asshole, it's exhausting. I think Talik even knew that as a student. It's exhausting. So the key is, how do we stay healthy? Okay? I mean, sometimes people ask me, I've been doing this shit for 45 years, man. And the reason that I feel so healthy and so energetic is because I have a passion. I have meaning to what I'm doing. And I can't turn it off. I do other things. I take care of myself. And so I want to talk about balance a little because we all need it, but I don't think it's what we think it is. It's not like, okay, I got to do this here, I got to do this here, I got to do this here. Thank you. Give me a clap at least a little louder. Thank you. It's about, this is why I think we're probably healthier than most principals and leaders. Because they're in a school, okay, I'm leading, oh, now I'm going to get moved to this middle school. Okay, that's okay. You're in there with a passion, with meaning, with a mission. Doesn't matter what happens. You know, I'm fighting this college thing with accreditation. And my vice president said to me, what happens if you get turned down in the fall when they vote on us, the regional? I said, I'll be upset for an hour and then I'll keep going. That's what my job is, okay? And so it doesn't mean you can't set up structures to help yourself. I work out every morning, 6 o'clock with a trainer. That's the only way to get me there. I've never left my house in 40 years without meditating. That's important to me. I make sure that I go to an island every Christmas. I make sure I go to a third world country in the summer where I'm not very good at doing stuff, okay? Because that changes me. But that doesn't mean I'm losing my passion. It doesn't mean I can't look at an email. It doesn't mean I can't talk about school because it's inside me. And so the key is, how do you integrate all this to be much healthier? That's what we need to do. So I was sitting in the jungle of Costa Rica, man, meditating by myself. And the woman who ran the place, as we're sitting for lunch, says, you know, and I don't tell people who I am when I go places because then you really get into that whole thing. I'm just there being who I am. She says, I'm thinking of starting a school here. So at lunchtime, I helped her start a school. That didn't ruin my trip, you know. Friday, there was a sale, 2 for 1 at a new restaurant. I went in there. By the next day, there were 3 interns working in that restaurant, man. That didn't ruin my meal. So it's really important for everyone to figure out who you are and what that needs to do, what you need to do. And it changes all the time. When we started, I had all single teachers. They were there 24/7. Then they got a wife or a husband. They were there 23/7. Then they had a kid. They barely could make it into school. And I know they didn't sleep at night. And then their kids grew up and they came back. So it's that rhythm. It's every one of us got to find a rhythm. You know, I work like a maniac. People say that my life's not balanced. It's perfectly balanced for me. It may not be balanced for Sarah or somebody else, but it's you got to decide. And for any of you sports fans, Alvin Iverson, who played for Philadelphia, used to always say, LeBron James, who played for Cleveland, he used to say, I leave it all on the court. That's when he felt good. So there's this whole thing. I read an article recently that sometimes imbalance is the most beautiful thing. You're trying to get into the flow. When is it that your body and your mind and your spirit are all together? Sometimes that's when you're goddamn exhausted. It's the day before school's out. That's before, you know, sometime when you just got a proposal out or something just worked with a kid. That's the imbalance. That's okay. It's okay to be tired the day before Christmas, man. If you're not, I worry about it a little bit. So we need everybody. We need everyone to stay healthy. That's why, as Carlos and Andrew and us set up, you know, tomorrow you can be meditating, playing ball, doing that, because we pay attention to that. But don't try to put it in compartments. Try to integrate it. Find that meaning in your work where it's always there. And that's what's important because we need you. So I just want to end with a story that I've read before, of course. But it's one of my favorite authors is Max Dupree, and I hand out one of the books, but Leadership Jazz. And he starts the prologue, and it's about his daughter had a premature daughter. His daughter had and this just happened when I was reading it, when our friend Carlos had a premature daughter at the time, who's now almost as tall as Carlos and a healthy, beautiful young woman. But think about mind, body, and soul when I read this. Esther, my wife, and I have a granddaughter, named Zoe, the Greek word for life, Oh, no, that's what that. She was born prematurely and weighed 1 pound, 7 ounces. So small that my wedding ring could slide up her arm to her shoulder. The neonatalist who had first examined her told us that she had a 5 to 10% chance of living in 3 days. When Esther and I scrubbed up for our first visit and saw Zoe in her isolate in the neonatal intensive care unit, she had 2 IVs in her navel, 1 in her foot, a monitor on each side of her chest, and a respirator tube and feeding tube in her mouth. To complicate matters, Zoe's biological father had jumped ship the month before Zoe was born. Realizing this, a wise and caring nurse named Ruth gave me my instructions. For the next several months at least, you're the surrogate father. I want you to come to the hospital every day to visit Zoe, and when you come, I'd like you to rub her body and her legs and arms with the tip of your finger. While you're caressing her, you should tell her over and over how much you love her, because she has to be able to connect your voice to your touch. Ruth was doing the exactly right thing on Zoe's behalf, and of course, on my behalf as well. And without realizing it, she was giving me one of the best possible descriptions of the work of a leader. At the core of becoming a leader is the need always to connect one's voice and one's touch. Thank you.